here, it's got to be the same as the airflow here. So when you turn it...
If you would have told me 4 years ago that I'd be teaching people how to breathe right now, I would have laughed, because I was managing a student travel business and Vanessa was a designer. But here we are, teaching people how to breathe, all because of a straw.
When I think of myself 4 years ago, I see a completely different person. Stress and anxiety were really affecting my life. It was affecting my relationships, my performance at work. It was affecting the way that I thought about myself.
And we tried yoga and meditation apps and exercise, and a lot of it was good, but it wasn't consistent. And that's when we realized that there's one thing that we weren't doing right, and it was right under our nose the whole time: breathing. And it took a straw to make it happen. So I'm sitting with my friend who's a therapist, and he said, hey, try breathing through this straw for 2 minutes. It sounded crazy, but I tried it. And as I was breathing through that straw, I could feel my heart rate drop. I could feel my muscles loosen. I felt looser, calmer. And the first thing I thought was, why haven't I learned this before? And it turns out that there's a science of breathing, and most of us just don't know about it.
Yeah, so I actually remember Todd coming home that night and talking about this straw breathing technique, which I thought he was a little crazy, but I gave it a shot, tried it, and it was that moment that I turned and I looked at him and I said, we have something.
And then we realized that it wasn't so much a thinking problem, it was more of a breathing problem. I was taking shallow breaths like all the time, and I was breathing into my chest instead of my belly. So what was happening is that shallow breaths cue your sympathetic nervous system to increase your heart rate, blood pressure, and release cortisol. And that's shutting down your prefrontal cortex, literally where your decision-making lives. So deep breathing is actually the opposite, in that you're sending a signal to your parasympathetic nervous system through the vagus nerve to let your brain know that everything is fine. And then you're experiencing reduced heart rate, reduced blood pressure. You're gonna get calm because there's serotonin and melatonin being released. And that means you can sleep better, feel better, and actually live longer, all because of breathing.
I knew that I needed to slow my breath. Problem is, breathing is unconscious. We needed a reminder, and that's where we went back to the straw breathing technique.
We needed something physical. So we designed what we call the shift. It shifts your breath to shift your mind. And how it works is pretty simple. You take a nice deep inhale through your nose to fill your belly with air, like this. Then you pause and simply let the shift do the work by allowing your exhale to flow through, like this. You'll notice that what's normally a 2-second exhale becomes a 6 to 10-second exhale, and that's what makes all the difference. Because the technique was so effective, we wanted to create something practical that made breathing consistent. So we made the shift out of medical-grade stainless steel, and we use a proprietary manufacturing process that bakes precious metal colors throughout the entire piece so it lasts forever, and it's also whisper quiet. But most importantly, we were inspired by the 17th century Komuso monks.
The Komuso monks are actually a great part of the inspiration behind this shift. They used a tool to reach meditative states, and we couldn't help to feel the synergy between the solution that we just had found for our problem and an ancient practice, and that's where the shift was born.
The shift seems really practical, but when we first started Komuso, everybody laughed at us because it seemed silly to breathe through a straw to feel calm.
We weren't listening to that noise. We believed in us. We believed in the shift because it was changing our lives, and we knew we had the power to share that change with other people. So we worked non-stop, really hard, and we promised ourselves that even if that took one person at a time, we were gonna introduce them to the power of breath and show them that the shift has the power to make your breath conscious and take you to a state of calm.
Look, we're not monks, scientists, or doctors. We're just everyday people that created a really practical tool to help us feel calm every day. It worked for us, and we know it can work for you.